Oh, great. You press record already, and now it's just me rambling.
That's fine.
Hi, Autumn.
Hello.
Hi, Richie.
Hi.
Oh my god, this is so exciting. We have with us, back on the podcast, Autumn!
Clap, clap, clap.
Clap, clap, clap. And today is actually a very special podcast because we're doing a reboot of...
Badges of Bloodborne. It's like the reboot. This is like when we recorded with Michaela and the audio was messed up, and then you were like, no, that was the pilot. It was the pilot episode.
Because we did
It's
record...
exactly the same episode, but you sound like a ghost.
Well, we do have the eye badge.
Is this the... Was this...
Remember
Yeah,
recording
we
the eye badge?
tried doing them live. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a much better reboot because Autumn is going to be with us on every episode.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay!
I don't know what I've signed up for yet.
Big thank you to Dalek for giving us a summary of the Spark Hunter badge. Yay!
Yay!
Yay.
And now we're going to talk about the aspects of the badge that were not covered in Dalek's description. So things like the faction that the badge belongs to, and the events surrounding the badge's creation.
Okay.
What was that? What was that okay?
It's alright. I'm just opening the wiki to get the Spark Hunter page up.
All right. So, let's start with the faction that this badge is associated with.
Yep.
What faction is it associated with?
I think it might be the Spark Hunters.
Yep.
That's my theory. But you can't prove it's right or wrong. Let's argue about this on Reddit for 4 hours.
Sounds like a wonderful way to spend a Saturday night.
You know what? It actually doesn't say at any point, this is part of the Spark Hunters. It just says it's crafted by Archibald. And it's called the Spark Hunter badge. And then the description is badge for friends of Archibald. So if anyone wants to have a terrible drawn-out argument on Reddit, like, here you go.
So it's like a friendship bracelet.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, it just looks like a really pretty little bead in like a ring. So it's cute.
Yeah, it's like one of the more high-end items at a dollar store.
That's like a $3.99 item.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I can spring that for my friend Archibald.
Okay, thank you. So now, do the Spark Hunters have a headquarters, and where is it?
Presumably Archibald's house?
We think it might be Yharnam because that's where you find all the other Spark Hunter stuff lying around. So we think they were probably based there. Either they were based there or they showed up there and all died. Well, it's possible.
I just had a vision.
Oh no.
So they all show up to Yharnam, and then they see Richie, and Richie bullies them, and they die on the spot.
When you said a vision, I'm imagining this Renaissance painting of like visions of Saint Sinclair, but it's just you in a chair imagining like a hot dog or something.
Okay, and so who was in the Spark Hunter Friendship Club?
Well, Archibald. Okay, so
And his friends.
Yeah, there's Archibald. There's the corpse that you find the Genichiro on, which might be a Spark Hunter.
What's their name?
Samantha.
Okay,
Samantha, there we
thank
go.
you.
Okay, Autumn can do the names.
Okay, perfect.
Then there's whoever they got the tiny Genichiro from, who we don't see the body of.
Jim.
Okay. And there's another corpse that's got bolt paper on it that might be a spark hunter.
What's their name?
I don't know that many names.
Okay, let's see. Babymoon.com. So popular.
I'll just say Raymond. I'm just scanning my bookshelf. Okay.
Well, Rich, okay, wait. Are there any more corpses around?
Well, then there's the other one is we don't know, because it's either... The other one is either it is Parl and Parl turned into a beast, or it's someone that Parl ate, and you get the badge out of Parl's stomach somehow.
But if it's not Parl, it's actually Emma. One of the most popular baby names of 2018.
Yep, and also a character in Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro, so it fits the Miyazaki naming convention. And no one can say we're being disrespectful.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the Spark Hunters are Archibald, Samantha, Jim, Emma.
Thank you. Okay. So, what does the faction stand for? Like, what are their, ethics and whatever?
Sparks.
Yeah.
So, I have a question for, intense members of the Snack Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tune we play, a copyright-free tune, that's called Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a theme for a very specific occasion.
I don't edit these or listen to them, so I don't know.
Okay, well, those who know what the theme represents, write it in the comments, and that is the code word for this podcast.
Did you ever decide what the code words did?
I decided that they're there so that Richie goes, did you ever decide what they did? What's the point of the code words?
Yeah, but you understand it's a legitimate question. I'm not going, oh, you put the code words. And I'm just like, what? Why are you doing this? Like, I want to know.
Okay, once I get a vision about what they do, I'll let you know.
Okay. J.J. Abrams style.
So yeah, did everybody understand what I'm trying to say? The code word for today's podcast is the character that shows up whenever the Sparks music plays. Okay?
Good.
Okay.
Good.
I feel like people can guess what it is without even knowing, but,
Yeah, I think I can as well.
Yeah? Yeah? Oh, Adam, do you have any guesses?
Yeah, my heart is sinking.
No, not at all. I have no idea what's happening.
Looks like Richie dodged a bullet this time.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
All right, so the next question is,
all right.
Do the Spark Hunters have allies?
Archibald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
What about enemies?
Well, okay, here's something weird, right? Henrik, his gear is designed to, be very, very resistant to lightning. So, either he was fighting the electric things in Lauren, or he was fighting people who used lightning. Unless it's just a big coincidence and he's just, wearing rubber for some reason.
Mm-hmm. What if he's an electrician?
That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
He was an electrician who came to Yharnam, but it's all gas-powered. So he had to become a hunter to pay the bills.
Yeah. Okay. Autumn, do you have anything to add?
Rain, probably. If it was raining a lot.
That's true.
That would probably be an enemy of the Spark Hunters.
That is quite brilliant.
Does it ever rain in Bloodborne? I don't think it does.
It snows, which is a bit like rain. It rains in the fishing hammer, yeah. Oh, what about Genichiro from Sekiro?
Oh, he's a spark hunter.
He loves lightning.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
My hobbies include lightning and taking my shirt off in the middle of a fight. Okay. So the next question is, what's their story? What role do they play in Bloodborne? Did Ricky just laugh? What's so funny about this question?
Yeah.
Please explain to
I just realized I'm going to have to go. Just so realize
about this question.
Because one of the things we've talked about is that, like, they came up with all of these different groups of hunters and they don't really do anything or have much of a story. And I'm now realizing that the outline is going to involve us having to contrive a story for all of these things. Like, what, 8 times now? Including ones where it's just like the firing hammer badge, where it's just like, there's just one lying around and there's really no explanation of what's going on. I'm just sit here and I'm just gonna be like with my sleeves rolled up, chain smoking with you. What's the story, Richie? Anyway, the Spark Hunters are the infamous eccentrics of the workshop.
Oh.
Again, it's weird because there's like the infamous eccentrics who are the Spark Hunters, and then there's like the powder kegs who were also like, they were like the heretics, and the workshop is tiny. It's like it's like the size of like someone's like ensuite, like bathroom. Apparently, there's like a dozen people in here having this like, factional argument. Maybe that's why they're all fighting, because there's only one bench. They're all fighting over who gets to use it.
They're like, okay, are you done? Are you done? You said 5 minutes. Are you done?
That's why they're arguing all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you moved my wrench. You got my nail clippers all sparky.
It's like, don't touch that! And then this sudden, like, explosion. Okay, so basically there was a guy called Archibald. He saw the electric beasts in, this is like brackets, presumably in Lauren. Because they don't seem to occur naturally above ground. So, like, he saw one of those and was like, oh, that's interesting. These things can generate their own lightning. I need to research that. So the Spark Hunters are that. They are his attempts to recreate the electricity that he saw sparking around the beasts. And it says here that they followed a methodology that's very much like Bergenworth, which is, they don't go into detail about what that means, but I think it means they went into the labyrinth. Which would make sense, because that's where you find the electric beasts. Yeah, and I think, that's why we think, like, Paul is probably, like, someone from there, because they were, like, experimenting with stuff they found in the dungeons, and they somehow, like, well, it's that or they dragged, like, Paul out. The thing about Paul is that, like, this has been brought up before, but there's a tunnel that it's like a very rough tunnel that looks like it was, like, just really, really, like, hastily dug, that goes from the prison to where Paul is. And the question is, like, was Paul in the prison turned into this thing and then dug out? Or is the prison, like, did someone dig a tunnel from outside through the prison to get in? And I don't think it's really clear. Because it could really be either way.
Okay, thank you. So, for the Spark Hunter badge, there's actually a specific character associated with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's their name?
Archibald.
Yes! So, let's talk a little bit about Archibald.
Well, okay, the Archibald that is just referenced here, or do you want to talk about, like... I guess we can, because that's something we haven't talked about, is like the removed Archibald, who is a different character but still called Archibald.
But first, what is Archibald's full name?
Archibald Archibald.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk about the Archibald in-game first.
Okay.
Where do they live?
It doesn't exist.
Oh,
It's not in there.
Well, the Archibald in-game has some friends.
Yeah.
He gave him some bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a really nice friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they were all killed, I guess.
He invented stuff.
He invented a sparkly thing and then a smaller sparkly thing.
Good for him.
And some paper that makes you sparkly if you rub it on things.
This is something interesting, because the in-game description says the tiny tonitrus was crafted by Archibald. But then the big one just says it was conceived by him. So, like, maybe he only made the little one and was like, I don't know what to do with this, and someone else made the bigger one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Actually. So who made the bigger one?
The infamous eccentrics. Maybe that's why, like, they were the eccentrics of the workshop, because Paul was a giant dog skeleton.
Pearl, get out of the way. You've been using the bench for 30 minutes.
I saw Paul without fur the other day.
Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Is she just a skeleton?
It's a human skeleton. It just moves like an animal, but if you remove the fur, it's just like a human skeleton with slightly longer arms. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, and the tonitrus even says, like, for reasons untold, the hunters of Archibald's time did not fully take to the device. Maybe because it turned them into Parl. Maybe. Oh
my god.
Maybe Parl made this and was like, yo, these sparks are really cute. And then she turned into a giant dog skeleton. And then people are like, uh-oh.
Do you want to talk about why it's like reasons untold? Because it's sort of setting up stuff that happens later in the game.
Okay, yeah.
Because the whole, like, lightning thing is the lightning is pretty much useless against beasts and people, because they just take regular damage from it. But it's really effective against the, like, Lovecraftian, like, slug monsters and stuff. But presumably at the time, they didn't have any experience with those things, so there was no real reason to have all this lightning stuff. But then once you start going to, like, the Nightmare of Mensis and stuff, it makes sense you would actually want lightning.
I had no idea.
That was very informative. Thank you.
Thank you. This game is 5 years old, and I've done nothing but write about it since then.
Well, maybe it's time for you to get a fucking life.
I'm trying to. It's just not working. I'm sitting here surrounded by Bruitus mugs.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so Archibald, where does he live?
Didn't you ask this like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, I didn't get a straight answer. What's his address?
123 Yharnam Street, Yharnam.
Doesn't he live in the dungeons, though?
But what do you mean live in the dungeons?
For some reason, I pictured him as living in the dungeons with Easy.
Do you think he lives in, like, a procedural dungeon so he's really hard to find?
Yeah.
You go back to visit him and it's a different layout. It's like, shit.
Yes.
We have to find the right seed.
Yeah. Have you seen Cube 2, the Hypercube?
You know what? I haven't.
So it's kind of like that.
Cool.
I've seen all of the Cube movies.
Good.
Why?
I don't know. Okay, thank you. And, alright, so let's talk about the cut content, Archibald. Can you tell us about him?
The cut content Archibald is a completely different character who has nothing to do with the Spark Hunter badge, but is nonetheless called Archibald. And so Archibald is a removed Bloodborne character. We don't know where he would have been, but it sounds like... It looks like in early versions there would have been NPCs in the Hunter's Dream. Kind of like the Nexus in Demon Souls. So we think he probably would have been there. And he is he tells you that he wants you to go explore the dungeons and bring him back blood gems. The, like the weapon upgrade things. And it doesn't specify what he would do with them. He just says, I will use them to make you more powerful, basically. So we don't know if, like, he would have fitted them into, if he was like a blacksmith who fitted them into weapons, or he might have, like, been a merchant you sold them to or something.
Is he the one that eats them as well or something?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's really weird because his dialogue is... Because we have, like, the written dialogue, but not the... Because it was never recorded. But the written dialogue is full of, like, stage directions that are things like licking lips hungrily and things like that. And he keeps saying, like, this is... It's sort of like when Gascoigne starts turning into a beast, like, it's this intoxicating aroma, like, you have to bring me more. And he just wants more and more of these gems brought to him. And then he starts commenting that, like, the more you bring him, the more he's saying, like, I can feel myself going mad. Is this what it was like at Bergenworth? And then, it doesn't seem to have, like, an ending to his quest line. I guess he would have just stayed there and given you stuff. But the ending dialogue is just him dying if you attacked him. But other than that, yeah. But yeah, he is, like, nothing to do with the Spark Hunters. I think they just like the name Archibald. So they reused it. The same thing happens with, when they talk about Irreverend Izzy. That, like, there was a character called Izzy. Corvo!
Kitty.
I was hugging him and giving him kisses, and he's like, no.
Aww. If I try doing that to Ingrid, she just glares at me like, stop that. This is beneath me. So yeah, like, Archibald, nothing to do with the Spark Hunters, but they like the name. The same thing is true with Izzy, where there was a character called Izzy. They cut him, but they liked the name. And also fun that the name Lawrence they liked so much they used it for 3 different people. And it's a real fucking nightmare sorting through that dialogue to try to figure out which of the 3 Lawrences is being referred to.
Alright, thank you.
That's quite alright.
Oh, do you know there is someone else named Archibald?
We get a name.
No, I know someone else named Archibald. Do you know who?
They're in some game I haven't played.
No, okay, so one day, my dad comes home, and he's like, honey, so somebody abandoned a cat, and we tried to find the home and the owners, but we couldn't find them, it was at work, and so, it's a very nice cat, and this and that, and he's so lonely, and he's so lovely, so I brought him home.
Aww.
Yeah, my dad brought home a cat, and named him Archibald.
Oh, yeah, I remember this now, you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then a few years later, my dad comes home, he's like, honey, there was this cat that gave birth to a bunch of kittens, and one of them was, like, in the rain, and she was so sad and alone and cold, and so I took her and I brought her home. And her name is Precious Diamond.
Oh,
that's really cute. That's a really cute cat name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the opposite relationship where I'm just here and then animals show up and they're like, hi, I'm just living here now.
Richie's a Disney princess.
I am. I got did I tell you about the bird?
No.
Tell me about the bird.
A bird. I've been back at campus for like 3 weeks now, and a bird has already adopted me.
That is so cute.
It's like it's the only bird of that species on the campus, and every time it sees me now, it just hops down from its tree and follows me around to where I sit, and then it sits opposite the table and wants me to give it rice.
That is adorable.
Yes.
I know. I've got the 4 cats that follow me around here, 2 of whom are feral. The lark with the broken foot that is now like I'm its only source of food, and it's become so attached to me that it just like tries to land. It tries to land on me when I go outside, and I think I'm being swooped. And then I realize, no, it's that one. The magpie family and the crow family. So I'm responsible for like a dozen animals right now.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and when it starts to cool down a bit, I'll probably get another slug infestation and have to look after them as well. I found Archibald's dialogue, if you want me to talk about it. If you go to the Bloodborne wiki, the good one.
Bloodborne.com.
Yeah. And if you search, there's a page called Draft Dialogues, and if you look up that, you can get its Archibald's dialogue, which was It was only ever in Japanese, but I translated it into English.
How? How did you do that?
A combination of just, like, knowing roughly what he was saying already, and then looking at, like, just using, like, a vocab thing, and then I ran it by Loki. And then he said, yeah, this looks fine.
Amazing.
So you can get an English version of Archibald's dialogue. He basically says, if you're a hunter, will you be exploring the Tomb of the Gods? Bring me back blood gems. I can use them to make you stronger. And then he basically just has a bunch of lines where he's saying, are you safe if you brought me any more blood gems? Then he has a bunch where you think you're giving them to him, and he says, like, this has an intoxicating aroma. Please, please hand more over. And then the last one, he's saying, like, it's unbearable. I understand why Bergenworth went mad. Even I'm losing my mind now. And that seems to be the end of the quest line. So I don't know if he would have, like, stayed like that, or if maybe that's a precursor to him attacking you or something.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there's a bit where he says, like, I can smell you, you're so pungent, I can already taste you, and he starts, like, ranting, and I think he wants to, like, eat you.
4.
I don't know if, like, I'd say it's more like just straight up cannibalism.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if he became, like, a beast that swallowed you. Like, there is vor. There's the mole rat thing that just swallows you whole. But I think that's the only instance of just straight up vor in it.
Okay. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Adam.
That's quite alright.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the creation of the badge.
Yay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Who made it?
Archibald.
Woo! Why did he make it?
For his friends.
For his friends.
Yes! When did he make it?
Presumably
sometime prior to his death.
Okay. Yeah. What year?
Well, what year is Bloodborne set in?
2016.
Is this going to be like in Star Wars where there's not a year for anything, so they just do before and after, like, the events of episode 4?
Wait,
so
there's 2 years in Star Wars?
No, they just say the first movie is kind of like the AD BC divide. So then they're just like X years before this and X years after it. So this would be like we'll say like this is 5 years BPS, which is before Pale Blood Sky. That's our new date, and nothing happens APS, because that's the end of the game. Okay.
Alright. Okay.
Cool.
How did Archibald make it?
With sparks.
Okay.
I don't know, really just looks like it looks like glass, maybe some metal.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you think they take, like, the hair of the dark beasts and make it sparky?
Maybe
there's a little bit of hair in there, like a Harry Potter wand or something.
Yeah,
but a dark beast hair inside a bead, wrapped in metal, makes little sparks. Sounds plausible to me.
Okay, there's a thing in like collecting circles called slabbing, where if you have something very rare, you get it slabbed, which is you just get it and then it's like encased completely in perspex, so it can never be touched or damaged again. So do you think that like they slabbed a dark beast hair and they made a little bead out of it?
Yeah.
Wow. Good job, everyone. Great teamwork figuring this out. I'm so glad Autumn is here, because Richie would have been like, I don't know. The game doesn't say. I don't know.
Yeah. That is how I respond to everything, and that's how we've gotten 2 years of content out of this. Just me going, I don't know, game doesn't say. It's more like, oh, the game doesn't say but, followed by, like...
You know, you were saying, like, I think you're definitely on the bully scale right now, Sin, of being just like...
Well, we've discussed this with Sin, where, like, Sin as a psych major, you pretend to not understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But very clearly, you are projecting your superego onto me. Because you will say things that you know are, like, bad or stupid or a waste of time. I won't say anything, and then you'll go, oh shit, oh, you shouldn't say that, oh, that's stupid, which is clearly what you actually think. But instead of accepting that you think that about yourself, you're saying that I'm saying it, and I'm just sitting here in silence.
Alright, thanks, Freud.
Don't mention it.
So now we're going to talk about the items associated with the badge.
Yeah.
Both of them.
So, Autumn, you going to tell me that's not bullying right there?
Well, I was going to say there's 3, so whatever.
Yeah. What's the third one? Yeah, okay, there we go.
What are the items?
The tonitrus. The tiny tonitrus. And probably bolt paper?
Yeah, it's, the badge gives you the tonitrus and the bolt paper, and you have to find the tiny tonitrus yourself. So you don't get it from the badge. Yeah. A lot of the badges unlock, like, 1 or 2 things, and it's like, I don't think they maybe plan to have this many badges.
So wait, is the corpse we find the tiny one on Archibald?
It's in a chest, it's not in a corpse.
Is the chest we find the tiny one on Archibald?
Yes, he's a mimic. That's why he was the eccentric of the workshop.
Just like imagine a mimic like working at the bank.
No, he was hiding in the corner pretending to be a chest, and they'd like put things in him, and then he'd run off and like, Archibald!
Thank you. So you know how you get the badge and then certain items are available at the messenger bath?
Yep.
How does that happen?
Because, like, my understanding of it is that the messengers, like, they're obsessed with hunters, and they'll, like, do what hunters want, and they see you carrying the badge and like, oh, you're a spark hunter, let me get my spark hunter stuff for you.
Okay.
And they, like, pop into their little, like, void and bring it out.
Okay, but how do they have it?
Well, because they, like, live in the dream, and they, like, pop between different worlds, so I guess they can just, like, find stuff.
Oh my god, so... Okay, so what if when they see you with the badge, they're like, oh, I know what you need, and they sneak into Archibald's house, steal his stuff, and then they're like giving it to you, like, hey, you want to buy it?
Well, they might. They might.
Oh my
There's a lot of houses
Probably.
in Yharnam. I mean, Archibald might live in one of them.
And maybe that's why they can't get you the tiny one, because it's like in a chest.
Yeah, they can't
And
reach it.
it's too dark to see it in
Yeah.
there.
Thank you.
Like how the messengers are like, oh yeah, sorry, we totally like couldn't get that one for you.
And is there a connection between the badge and the items?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
what it means.
Okay, yeah, yes, there is, because it's literally the point of the badge.
Yeah, but beyond that.
It's sparkly.
Okay.
Autumn growing gradually confused in the background. Get comfy.
I'm trying to think, like, what was I thinking when I wrote this?
Yeah, you should really have, like, done a proofread of the outline.
How is this badge? Okay, you know what? Maybe it's just like instinctually when you hear this question, how is the badge connected to the items it is associated with? What do you think of?
It's a blue sparkly thing. It looks a bit like the sparks
Yeah.
on the spark paper and the sparks on the tonitrus, and it's made of metal also like them.
Okay.
And you'll notice that I guess the sparkly thing, if it's actually electricity, it's contained in like a glass bead, because presumably if you touched the metal, the whole badge would like shock you when you touched it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've been walking around with socks on and then you touch like a metal door handle.
Uh-huh. Is that what's happening to Parl? Is she wearing socks and that's why she's all like full of electricity?
She's not wearing socks anymore, but we don't know.
I think she's a skeleton.
Maybe she did. Well, her hair is quite like fluffy, so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know like a piece of stupid trivia about lightning things in Bloodborne?
Okay.
You know how the suspicious beggar turns into that like he's like a little version of the bloodletting beast and he's covered in lightning.
Uh-huh.
He does no lightning damage. That is entirely cosmetic.
Oh.
Because they decided he would be in Lauren like really, really, really late.
Uh-huh.
So they just added a lightning effect but didn't give him any different like lightning attacks. So he does absolutely no bolt damage.
You know what's interesting is I'm looking at like the bolt paper and it's like spiky.
Yeah.
It's like powder paper looks like paper.
Yeah.
But bolt paper looks like spines.
Yeah.
So maybe it is kind of like hair or like something to simulate like static electricity.
Like wool or something.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that too. That's an excellent observation.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let me ask you, Autumn. When you hear this question, how is this badge connected to the items it is associated with? What do you think of?
Well, it's like Richard was saying, where the items that the messengers give you are just because, like, they're what you would have if you were a spark hunter. Because they're, like, hunter groupies.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess it's associated with, like, I don't know, Archibald's love for his friends and electricity. So they probably literally stick together because it's like staticky.
Oh my god! Yes! That is so cute.
So they're connected to the badge is connected to the items it's associated with via static electricity.
Beautiful.
That is very poetic. Thank you, Autumn.
Oh, speaking of messengers, like, I don't want to risk opening the outline again in case it makes Chrome shit itself. But, are we talking about the individual messenger that appears?
No, Dalek will mention it, remember? In the,
But do we want to talk about, like, it as well?
No.
Okay. You know, I spent a whole fucking day getting shots of those messengers. I did beat the game like 8 times.
That's why we included them in the summary that people will talk about.
Thank you.
You're fucking welcome. Okay, thank you. I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what a tinnitus is, so I googled tinnitus.
Mm-hmm.
And the tinnitus from Bloodborne is showing up. So, what's a tinnitus?
It's like a made up word, but it's like from the Latin that means, I think, lightning or thunder.
Okay.
I mean, they definitely look like they're inspired by the like real world big sparky things.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called.
They look
but they have like a belt drive inside them.
The Van de Graaff generator that makes your hair stand on.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think they're meant to be like a Tesla kind of coil thing. Oh, here we go. Okay, tinnitus is derived from the Latin for thunder, which is like tonare.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if it uses like some sort of like flywheel mechanism to like generate the electricity.
Well, it's really, really fragile. Like,
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, like Bloodborne weapon durability is basically like irrelevant, and I don't know why they included it other than that it was in Dark Souls. But the only weapon that like you will actually seriously need to manage durability on is the tinnitus, because it's so fragile. It like falls apart really easily. That and the Chicago, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And there's just a few more questions about the badge itself. Is the badge connected to any other badges?
What does that mean?
Yes or no?
Well, they were all in the workshop together. So I guess, like, our hunter is wearing this, like, giant, like, charm bracelet with all these different badges stuck to it by the end of the game.
Oh, it's like a Pandora bracelet!
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Ah.
Because I buy a lot of charm bracelet stuff on eBay, and I'm thinking, like, yeah. Also, we have no idea how big the badges are. Like, they might be really tiny. So you could maybe get them, like, all on a bracelet.
They always look like they would be, like, pendants on a necklace or something.
Yeah, and, like, I guess we'll bring it up now, like, a bunch of characters are wearing, like, a necklace. So I'm wondering if, like, the initial, like, when this was conceived, the idea is everyone would have a specific pendant.
Mm-hmm.
And then that sort of evolved into this, like, badge system. I think in Japanese they're not even called badges. I think it's just called, like, the proof of. That it's just, like, this is the sign of the Spark Hunters or something.
The Spark Hunter badge is definitely a necklace, because you can see, like...
Yeah.
The way it looks like it could be a necklace, you know?
Yeah. Because, like, the whole, like, Amelia's pendant is, like, really significant and then basically ignored. And then, like, Patches is wearing this weird pendant with, like, a piece of eldritch rock in it, and... Like, and then, like, the Canehurst brooch thing is, like, that goes around your neck, and it's...
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of necklaces in, like, early stuff that doesn't seem to go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And what are your thoughts on the design of the badge?
It's very pretty. It's something I would wear.
I like it.
Too, and
it's a cute one.
Yeah, it is very cute.
Some of them are dumb. They're just like a sword or something.
Yeah.
This one's cute.
One thing I notice about it, though, if you compare it to, like, the Crow Hunter or the Cosmic Eye Watcher, those seem to be done, like, professionally, whereas this one is a very simple design that's not very polished.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, Archibald must have only took, like, the beginner jewelry making class.
Yeah.
Do you think he deliberately made it look like that because he didn't want it to be, like, too pretty?
No,
he was like, we're taking this seriously.
No, I think Autumn is right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This wasn't very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Using the workbench at the workshop to make jewelry. Everyone's really mad. That's why it only unlocks
Everyone's
2 things.
Jealous.
Yeah, he only ever made the 3 things because he spent most of his time trying to make a nice necklace.
He just wanted to give it to his friends. He loves them a lot.
Aww. Yeah. So I'm glad we've come full circle, because the Menses stuff was one of the first things Richie and I recorded. And I mentioned that when I first played Bloodborne, I didn't even realize it was a badge. I thought it was a pretty necklace or something. And some people were not happy with my observation, and they let me know in the comments.
Yeah. This is like the first thing we recorded when, like, it was like, and that's like one of the more popular things because people were like, oh, like, this is a new thing with, like, Richard and this, like, Sin lady, let's see, because, like, at that point I hadn't made anything for ages and everyone was pestering me to do stuff. So, like, and they're like, oh, I wonder what this new project is, and it was this. And a lot of them didn't come back. But that's exactly what I wanted.
Yay!
Yes.
Yay!
Everyone who got annoyed at this, you have played right into my hands. Much like Miyazaki himself. I meant it to be bad.
Yay.
I'm just bringing up because I have the, like, raw icon files. And I can tell, because I think the Spark Hunter badge is, like, placed weirdly. Yeah, because, like, a lot of the items, like, they sort of fit in... There's like the big, like, Autumn one, like, the big texture page that has all the icons on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, most things that are the same, like, connected to each other are grouped together. But then some things are, like, in weird spots where it kind of makes a bit more sense. So, like Viola's brooch, which is the, like, just straight up the brooch from the Canehurst Knight set. that is stored on the texture page with the other Canehurst stuff, which sort of makes sense. It's like, oh, this used to be like a Canehurst thing. So from memory, the Spark Hunter badge is somewhere weird. It's like not with the other badges. I'm gonna go find it. I'm just scrolling through it now. Promise I don't know what they're just called like numbers, so I just have to really like. I wrote a macro to make these into icons for the wiki. And it was as a result of this that we learned that Jura's pants were offset incorrectly by 1 pixel. Yeah, it's actually stored with the unused, like, back when they dropped kind of boss soul equivalents. It would drop the livers. Oh, this is interesting. It's right next to the tear stone that you get from the doll.
Mm-hmm.
And it itself is kind of like, looks like a cut gem. So I'm wondering if, like...
Do you think that Archibald is the hunter in the, like, reflection map of the doll's brooch?
I legit think he might... Well, the original Archibald might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, like, there's 2 other characters you can see, and I think those are Archibald and Izzy. Because I can't think of anyone else. Unless it's, like, a completely removed NPC. God, they put so much work into the Chalice, like, drawings, and you never really see them.
So the next question is, what alternative design would you suggest for the badge?
Maybe something with like an LED in it, because it's the Spark Hunters.
I mean, it is kind of a proto-LED, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a spark inside, like, a gem, so...
Yeah.
Interesting. I was thinking more like, since it's made of glass or whatever, maybe Archibald can make it like into some sort of a shape, like maybe like a pineapple or something, and to be really cute.
Clear pineapple?
Yeah. I forget if it's like, I think it's like if you have a glass rod and you like rub it against wool or something that generates electricity. So like maybe it could be something like that.
Yeah.
There are like toys you can get where they have like a little tiny hole in them with plastic piping going in, and like if light goes into the hole, it makes all the piping light up. So I think like if they didn't have LEDs available, they could do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so creative.
Maybe it could be like those things that have like a little hole that you put a glow stick in, and it makes them light up. And then you just switch the glow stick out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And one last question. What effect would you propose for the badge?
What does that mean?
Well, like, the badge doesn't have an effect, right?
It gets you stuff.
Yeah, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything.
It should make your hair spark.
Yeah, it should give you that hair that like points directly upwards.
Yeah. What if
replace
Bloodborne
your hair
was
with that for
actually
the rest
like
of the game?
Necklace collecting simulator?
What?
I was just saying, what if Bloodborne was actually like a necklace collecting simulator, and you just had to like get necklaces from your friends and make new ones for your other friends, and it was just like a contest to see who had like the coolest looks from your necklaces.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What if Elden Ring is that?
With rings?
But if Elden Ring is that just with rings, it's just a ring trading game.
Or just limbs.
Limb trading game.
It's like, I really like you. Here's my arm.
Oh my god, that would be so cute.
I legit want that, though. I want it to be like, I want them to go back to like Armored Core design, but it's like, so you're just...
Is Elden Ring Armored Souls?
I hope so.
Finally?
But didn't we kind of have Armored Souls and no one knows about it except like Emily? That because it was Dreamcast exclusive, Frame Gride.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, because that is literally like that is the FromSoftware game about giant robots who are also knights fighting in like a destroyed kingdom. But it was Dreamcast exclusive, so no one remembers it.
Yeah, I remember she was showing me that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like a one-on-one fighting game, but it's like all these mecha that are done up like giant knights, and they come from different like warring houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Actually, yeah, I'll try to like get a Dreamcast emulator working, and we could like stream that and talk about it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and these are all the questions we have about the Spark Hunter badge.
Yay!
Do the outro, Richie.
That was...
There's an outro?
This is by way of apology. That was Badges of Bloodborne, Episode 1, an exciting rebooted series. After us streaming the badge didn't work out. And now Autumn's here as well.
Yay!
Yay!
I guess, Autumn, do you want to just reiterate, like, where people can find, like, the Girl Software stuff? If people are interested.
Yeah, we just have a website. It's girlsoftware.com.
Just one word?
Yeah, one word, I believe. But yeah, everything you want to know about me is there, so I can keep it brief.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you so much, Autumn.
Thank you.
No thank you to Richie, who's been bullying me the entire hour.
Yeah.
That is objectively false.
So you need to stop asking people on, because they like see behind the scenes and it doesn't. It's a very different picture.
Very different picture.
Well, it's like Sin can ask people on once. Because that's the one, like, when she's shy the first time.
Yeah.
And then after, she's like full bully mode. You messed up by like having me on all of these.
Yeah, the first one where you're just like, I'm shy, and I have to do all the talking, and then after that it's just like, oops.